What's up, y'all?
It's your girl, Nay.
And it's your boy, X.
And welcome back to
the
X and Nay podcast. You always
I don't know. I feel like we were a little off there, so I was trying to feel myself into it.
Yeah, because you don't even know what you want to say, huh?
Yeah, it's been a bit of a week. I feel like this week I feel like every week goes by fast, but
Absolutely.
I feel like at the same time, this one has gone by fast and slow because I feel like a lot has happened. And I feel like we're getting into the part of the year where I'm excited because it's starting to get cooler. I can wear hoodies in the house now.
Mm-hmm. You already do that anyway.
We can stop blasting the AC. How you feeling though? How you feeling?
I'm tired, man. These kids has been taking us through it the past week or two, I want to say. I don't know what is going on with them. They need to figure it out.
Yo, I will say this. I worked a 9-to-5 job for 8 years straight.
Mm-hmm.
And of those 8 years, 3 of them have been with children, right? So I would go to work. Naomi is taking care of Amari. Of course, now we have Ace. But man, when I tell you, being a stay-at-home parent is not easy. It is
rough.
not easy.
I understand why some moms go out and get a job. I get it,
I think being a stay-at-home parent is harder than going to a 9-to-5 for most jobs, especially if it's a white collar job where you're sitting in office and all you got to deal with is people and their attitudes. Man, I feel like now that I've done both, and mind you, we help each other. You know what I mean? It's not like you're the only one, I'm the only one. It used to be you just being the only one. But now that I have this perspective, man, yeah, you definitely had it harder than I did.
I will say though, I think when the babies are small, it's not as bad, especially being one. It's not as bad. I feel like you have more time into your own thoughts, which kind of sucked being postpartum. But I will say having 2 kids and having one that's a toddler, oh my God. Her just throughout the day, she's just draining your energy. I came to the conclusion, if I want to work out, I'm going to have to work out before everybody gets up, because if I wait, my energy just goes down by the day. And then it comes to the time that I'm supposed to do my workout. I'm like, bro, I just don't have it in me.
Man, by the time 4 o'clock comes around, you're like, dang, we got 4 more hours left till 8 o'clock. I don't know.
Thinking, what can we do to run her energy out some more?
It's I love my nights so much now. And don't get me wrong, I love spending time with the family. But when your toddler wants to suck your energy, they know exactly how to do it.
She was doing it yesterday morning at 10 a.m. 10 a.m. Just jumping bean, going. I'm like, oh my God. Sometimes I used to be jealous of him going to work because I'm I understand that having a 9-to-5 or just having a job in general has its own stressors, but it's something about just being home. I don't know. Whenever he used to go to work, y'all, I used to leave the house a lot. I'm like, okay, I don't know where we going. If we're going to Chick-fil-A, I don't care. We packing these kids up. We're going to put them in a car. If they fall asleep, I'm sitting in the car. I'm going to eat my lunch and I'm going to wait until they wake up because I'm not getting out the car. And then sometimes I would go and then, I call him. I'm just sitting in the car. It's 12 o'clock. I'm like, dang, we got 4 more hours till daddy go. Oh my God. But I like having him home because both of us get to do it together.
Yeah, it's great that it's both of us, but now that I put myself back into that idea of having a 9-to-5, if this was something that we had to continue to do, man, I feel like our relationship would be a lot different because I feel like we've gotten so much better since I've been home, and we were already in a pretty good spot. I know you're dealing with postpartum stuff, but I just feel like, man, just the daily grind really can destroy people and destroy relationships. And they don't even know it because they're so into that rat race that you don't really have the time to really assess what's happening. And you may be drowning and you may not even know it. I think you and I both were drowning to a degree because although I feel like we were very productive, with everything that we prioritize, I feel like you just can't do everything.
You don't have enough time in the day.
That's why the house was always something always needed to be cleaned.
Either the house was messed up or we couldn't get content done or we're both just simply tired and exhausted from the day. I'll say when we had Amari, it probably wasn't as bad, but I would say it was different in its own degree being our first child. So there was a lot of stuff that we had to go through and learn on our own. But when you have a second kid, I feel like it wasn't as bad. Like I feel like if I had a third kid, I would be solid because
Mhm.
you know we've done this, we know what we're doing, you know.
Yeah.
But I feel like a lot of the first with Amari was difficult, but luckily, you know, I think that was kind of not like freshly COVID, but a little bit after COVID, so you were able to be home for like a little bit.
Mhm.
And then with Ace, having him wasn't difficult. It was just the toddler phase while having a baby. You know, like they don't nap at the same time. She wants to do this, you know, he can't do much.
Mhm.
But I had seen something that was saying it sucks sometimes being in a healthy marriage or a healthy relationship because you can never just drop the kids off at their daddy house. He exhausted, I'm exhausted, we exhausted. Like we don't get no break.
Look, we just trying to have enough energy to get to the night. You know what I'm saying? Because if we got some energy, then we gonna spend time together. We gonna watch a movie.
Mm-hmm.
We gonna enjoy our night. Maybe.
But I will say we really do enjoy our time with like when our kids go with my mom or whatever.
Mhm.
We really do be enjoying like our time. Of course we miss them, but we be like,
It's to the point where I don't even really eat until the kids are asleep
yeah,
because
you're not
I
gonna
don't want to
enjoy
be
it.
bothered. Like I don't want any disruption. I want to sit there. I want to enjoy
Mhm.
my food. Because for me, I'm a very simple guy. I like to eat food. I like to, play a video game every now and then. I like to spend time with you, and of course the family. But you have to have that balance. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like if I'm not getting enough gaming in, then I may, wish that I had more of that.
Mhm.
If I'm not getting enough of you, then I may wish I want more of that. So like I try to position my days so that I get everything in. And that means that if you're tired, then I go do something with the kids. That way later on when I come home and the kids are put to bed, we still have time to like watch a TV show or
Mhm.
whatever. And we've been watching like this show on Zeus because one of our one of our friends is on there.
It's ghetto.
Michael.
It's so ghetto.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, it's a fun show. I mean, and shout out to him, man. Michael, if you ever see this, I hope that you get many more opportunities because of this, and appreciate the content. Regardless of how it comes, if it comes from Zeus, if it comes from Netflix, if it comes from YouTube, it don't even matter. Yeah, we appreciate it. So, but yeah, if you ain't watching nothing, go ahead and check out Zeus. I think every Sunday they drop a new episode.
Mhm.
And what's it
We
called?
watch a lot of Zeus stuff. It's called Love Cabin.
So
it's like a Love Island, but like I guess kind of. I like to say the black version because I feel like Zeus is like the black people platform, but it's not just for black people. Anybody can watch it.
Yo, Ray J is absolutely hilarious.
He is.
I think Ray J was a good addition because he's such a clown. Like
Move your phone over here so I can see my.
I see him. He right here. Look, we
I get like a little bit of anxiety.
I can see my son.
Because Ace is literally like in the crawling phase and he moves fast. So right now, Amari's in her room playing with her toys and she's good for the most part. Like we could tell her to stay in her room. She'll stay there. She might get a little antsy and try to come out, but him on the other hand, when he wake up, he be. But right now he's on our bed. So we just got to make sure we watch both of them.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, now that we have more time, I feel like we also don't have a whole lot of time because I feel like even when you have the day at your disposal and we prioritize what we want to do, there's always things that come up. There are always things that need to be done. It's like just managing a household alone with kids. Like, I think people don't really understand how difficult, especially men, because men, like I said, we go to work most of the time. Nowadays, a lot of women go to work as well, but daycare is so expensive. And a lot of times, you just don't really get to fully.
What was that?
That's probably her and her making noise. Let's see if she good.
You okay, Mari?
She fine. She in there.
You dropped a toy? Okay, I love you.
She in there dancing the kids bop. She ain't worry about you.
I'm just trying to make sure she ain't, I feel like everything that happened with my kids,
she be overstimulated. But yeah, I mean, I think most guys, we don't really truly appreciate how difficult it is until, you are put in a situation where you have the opportunity to. And I haven't even had the opportunity to be a stay-at-home parent on my own. Like it's been both of us. But I do think that you appreciate me a lot because you see how much easier your life is when I'm home. Like things are always constantly getting cleaned, even though they're always constantly getting dirty as well. Um, you can sleep in and I'll take the kids and do whatever. But
I will say though, I'm very appreciative and grateful to have a husband like you that actually does understand the mental load that comes with being a stay-at-home parent. I feel like a lot of times men nowadays, they brush it off like that's what you're supposed to do, or just people in general in society. That's what you're supposed to do. You chose to have the kids. Yeah, but also villages don't village like they used to, Like I feel like back in the day, like our parents, grandparents, they had a lot of help.
And
And
I
I
feel
feel like
like
it's
money
not a
stretched
thing.
a lot longer back then.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, absolutely.
I feel like nowadays money doesn't do what it did when
I
I
want to say
grew up.
my grandma told me she had got her first house for like $17,000. You know what I would do if I could buy a house for $17,000?
Shoot, if you could do that, I mean, I know back then they had higher interest rates, but even still, like just imagine if you had saved up 17K. You know what I mean? You pay for that cash, you good to go.
But even still, like for example, my parents' house, they may have bought it like 10 years ago, but the price difference from 10 years ago to now is crazy.
I mean, just like our house. I mean, our house is appreciated a lot. And my dad always told me it's not hard to get
Get
into a
out.
house. What's she doing?
Standing on chairs, trying to look out the window.
Oh my goodness. Like my dad said, it's not hard to get into a house, but it can be hard to stay in a house.
Absolutely. I think that comes down to spending. Like a lot of people have different things that they prioritize that they like to spend money on. I think for us, we really just spend a lot of money on food.
Yeah, we spend a lot of money on BS, and that's what we're trying to get
Stop
better at.
doing.
Because we're normal people. I mean, I feel like we've been spending a decent amount of money on the things that are important, and we always do that. But there's always like, and I always tell Naomi, I'm like, when we go to the store, like, we need to already know what we're getting, and don't let the store finesse you, because stores are set up to finesse you. That's why
like I have a tendency to grab extra stuff. I'd be like, oh yeah, I needed to get some more
but you really
of
don't.
this.
But you really
Actually,
don't.
sometimes I do. Sometimes I do.
Sometimes you do, but
But
if
sometimes
wasn't on
it
your-
do be stupid stuff.
It's like, my thing is, we could go to Costco, right? And we already got a brand new roll of, pack of toilet paper.
I wanted the giant toilet
because
paper.
we walking by it like, oh,
No,
who
I want
knows?
the giant one. You saw the giant?
Oh, the big giant one?
It lasts you, like a month.
There's like this big giant roll of toilet tissue. I don't know if you guys seen
From
it.
Charmin, I think.
I guess. But my thing is, let's say that one roll gets ruined and then you out of luck. Like I remember the other day,
Yeah.
I was putting toilet tissue like in the little holder, and I had pulled one out, and then I had kind of fumbled it, and the toilet was open, and it fell right in the toilet.
Waste the whole damn
And I was
toilet
like,
paper.
it hurt my soul, because I feel like that toilet tissue had to be worth like $3.50.
And imagine that big roll is like $35.
Yeah, imagine if it just got like half of it got wet. And
Or
it's like,
messing with kids,
I'm gonna let it sit outside and air out, because we not wasting that.
That's nasty.
I'll use it, because y'all women, I don't know, y'all roll through some toilet tissue.
And do.
Because you be take your little pad, you roll it up like a goddamn kolache, tuck it in. You don't want nobody to see what's on there. I'm like, Jesus Louise, just let that pad hang out. It's all good. We the only ones looking at it.
Lord.
But shoot, she will go through some toilet tissue in a heartbeat. I ain't even realize.
Me and Amari.
Man, when I was in college, I think one roll of toilet tissue would last me a month. And I know that sounds bad, but hear me out, because I would get the cheap stuff. The cheap stuff that has a ton of like tissue, like the ones that you would go to like some
like in the
public place.
restaurant places.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they got them, they
They be
pretty
thin.
big. They pretty big. They thin, but shoot, think about it. I ain't got to wipe when I piss. All I gotta do is shake Willie. You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
we can't just do that.
He good. Now I'm taking like, 1 or 2 poops a day, right? So
Why do we need to know
So
this?
them poops normally are followed by a shower. So if you catch my drift, you don't have to go super crazy with the toilet tissue. As long as
Lord.
you ain't got, you know what I'm saying, like it ain't going
You don't want to
crazy.
put none of that in the shower though.
But I'm saying like it's like a bidet.
Oh,
You know what
fair
I'm
enough.
saying? Like
Hey, we should get one of those. If we really do get one of those, I probably won't use as much because I used to use those in Korea.
Yeah, I was looking at them, but I got to figure out the electricity.
You don't have to have an
situation.
outlet. Someone
don't?
said you don't.
Oh, well,
Who was I talking
maybe that's
to?
what we need. 'Cause
Maybe I was talking to my sister.
you got to get in the shower, you know what I'm saying? After you do it, spread them cheeks, let that hot water hit. If you a guy, you ain't getting in the shower and doing that, that's probably why you stink.
Fair
And
enough.
you need to follow me on Instagram, because I'll be doing scents of the day, fragrances of the day.
Oh,
Speaking of that, What you think about what I've been wearing lately?
No, that's not what this podcast is supposed to be about.
We ain't gonna put them on just yet, because I got some stuff coming in the mail today.
Yo, we supposed to be telling y'all something else.
I got some stuff coming in the mail today. It's gonna have you
What
ready.
you order?
You already know what I ordered, girl. 2 bottles.
Oh, I know what you ordered.
Yeah, it's a 10. It's a perfect 10. So.
Okay.
Anyway, y'all, enough rambling. We wanted to get into the deliveries a little bit of our children, because in last video, we talked about the IVF process a bit. And I think to kind of get us into this, we talked about a procedure that you had to have to prep you for.
Twice. I had to have it twice.
Twice you had to have this procedure. Just get into it. I'll let you explain, because I'm terrible at explaining this. This is, what was it called?
It's like a hysteroscopy.
Hysteroscopy.
Something like that.
But they take the polyps out. You explain it. I'm terrible.
But basically, I had Amari, don't call me. I had to get a hysteroscopy done, and essentially I had polyps inside of my uterus, and I don't really know how to explain what a polyp looks like. Kind of like, I don't know.
It kind of looks like a skin tag, but in your
uterus. But it's a whole bunch of them.
Yeah, but I don't think you had a whole lot.
I think I had like just one or two.
But it's basically like if you had a bed, right? And in order to sleep in that bed most comfortably, you would want no extraness in the bed other than the bed, the sheets, the pillows at the top. Right?
I feel like you could describe it as like a crumb.
It's like a Lego or something. Like you're laying in the bed, there's a Lego right here just killing me, or there's crumbs right here, and you're like, that's what polyps are.
But the thing is, you don't feel it. Like I never knew that I had it until they did this. It was like a mock transfer where they injected my uterus with like a saline water, and then that's where they were able to see it on ultrasound that I had a polyp. So essentially they went in, they cut those out. Recovery was easy. I didn't have any pain afterwards. And then, after that, I think heal time was like 2 weeks. And then you're able to go ahead and go in for a transfer. But I just realized I left something off about my egg retrieval the first time. And I'm not going to get too much in detail. But the first time with my egg retrieval, something happened and I ended up getting, was it air inside that ended up pushing up into my lungs, and that was like the most painful thing ever.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
I just remembered that because I remember we went to the ER, but weirdly enough, the second egg retrieval I had no pain, but that almost took me out, and that was the reason why I didn't want to do another egg retrieval.
I totally forgot about that. Yeah, the first time Naomi did the egg retrieval, when we got home, she was in so much pain that we had to go to the ER, and
they couldn't even do nothing.
They couldn't do nothing. They took like ultrasounds, I guess.
They gave me like some tramadol or some type of medication for pain or whatever it was.
But yeah, apparently that's the thing that could happen. It's like,
I forget what they call it, but oh my God, do not recommend.
It felt so bad. But
second time I didn't have it at all.
At all.
Thank God. But I guess going into our labor and delivery of our first baby, Miss Amari.
Did you want to talk about the pregnancy differences between the two at all?
I feel like, honestly, because I was doing IVF and a lot of the medications I was on was, ODing with the hormones. I feel like my pregnancies were very similar. I had horrible morning sickness with both of them. Second trimester was pretty good. And then getting closer to labor, I started getting like a little bit more pain, typical pain with like baby weighing down on your pelvic area. First time I didn't do any chiropractor type of, appointments. And then with my son, I did. I do think that made a huge difference for me when I did deliver him. But I feel like with Amari, like we both knew how to take care of kids because we, have nieces and nephews. But I would say there was a lot of stuff that I never considered taking a birthing class or, taking a parenting class because I grew up taking care of my siblings. But I realized how quickly, it's different. Like raising your siblings or helping raise your siblings versus it being your own child, it is so different. Like, I don't care if you say you had experience with nannying kids. I'm telling you, it's not the same. And I don't know if it's just because it's your own kid or, I'm not sure. But with Amari, I would say for the most part, my pregnancy was not as bad, just the first trimester. You would say the same?
Yeah, I think you were pretty good.
And then I remember I had got a membrane sweep because I was 38 weeks and I was over it. I wanted my girl to get out.
So what is a membrane sweep? Make sure that they know.
Basically, a membrane sweep. Make sure she okay. A membrane sweep is where they go inside. If you're dilated, I think you have to be dilated to at least a 1 before they would even consider doing it. But they go inside and they like would stick their finger around the inside of your
cervix.
Yeah, inside of your cervix to detach the water bag with your uterus or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, it can cause like uterine contractions and get you to go into labor. It doesn't work for everybody, but for me, luckily, it did work. I was actually scared because I was convinced that it didn't work. The whole day went by. We walked 3-4 miles in the neighborhood. I'm on the ball.
Which ball was he on?
Don't.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Don't make me mad.
I didn't know because she told us that we needed to be doing some stuff on different balls and.
Shut up.
No, I'm saying we there were a few different balls that we worked with, but
anyways, so I remember the day going by. It's nighttime. It had to have been at least like 9:00 at night, and I'm constantly getting up to go pee. Like I'm telling you, every 5 minutes, if even every 2 minutes. And I keep getting up. I'm looking at him. He on the bed. He looking at me. I'm looking at the dog because we had a dog. The dog looking at me. And he's like, "Are you good?" I'm like, "I don't know. I really have to pee." So I go to the bathroom to pee. I come back. I lay down. And I'm like, "Oh, I feel like I got to pee again." So I get up. I go pee again. And I'm at this time, I'm also losing a lot of my mucus plug, I would say, like throughout the day. Nothing crazy.
Like WAP.
Oh.
He was losing all the WAP.
Shut up.
I'm just saying. That's what it looked like to me. It just looked like WAP.
Yeah. But so I had the bloody show and all of that. And then the last time that I got up to go, I didn't even get like to the bathroom. And I felt like this pop and like water just started gushing. And I was like, oh.
I remember when it happened because I was laying in the bed and you had got up and you had blocked, like, you was in front of the TV, like between me and the TV. And you, like, I think I started pissing on myself. And I'm like, oh, wow. And I started watching the TV again. And then you walked away, like, into the bathroom. Then I could see the contrast with the light in your leg and the fluid that was kind of like
oh, you was looking, huh?
Yeah, and I was like, oh my goodness, she's peeing on herself. And yeah, that's when we knew it was time.
And I will just say that the way that they advertise your water breaking in the movies is nothing like that.
Oh my god, the water's broken.
It's not even that. Like,
water breathing.
Babe, it's not even that. It's just the fact that it does not stop until the baby is out. Like, you're gonna leak the entire time you're in labor until that baby is out.
It smells like kind of weird too.
Yeah, but not in a bad way. It just didn't smell normal.
It smelled like
you're gonna make them think I stink.
No, it just smells like, because I would think it would smell like pee, but obviously it shouldn't smell like pee because
it's not pee.
But it kind of smells like
amniotic fluid.
Kind of smells like clean lake water. You know how like you smell like, and it's like, okay, I know that that's not purified, filtered, but there's a earthy type of acidic.
Oh, you was into it.
Type of, you know, natural, like, about it, you know, like something like that.
Okay, so fast forward, my water break. We wanted to vlog everything, but then I feel like shit just got real.
I was like, nah.
I'm not gonna lie to you, it got real, and we didn't. So I want to say I didn't have any contractions. By the way, I will say though, I was dilated to a 4 centimeter before I even got a membrane sweep, and then you know, obviously we went to the hospital around 10:30. I didn't have any contractions until like the last 5 minutes of getting there. I was telling him, step on the gas. What the hell are you doing?
I was driving the speed limit, you know what I'm saying?
He over here cruising.
Like, I called my mom. I'm like, yeah, it's time. We going in there. Yeah, it done broke. Yeah, we good. We gonna find out what's going on.
Oh my God.
Even the hospital people, they kind of take a while. You know?
Wait, backtrack. I left out something important. I forgot. The day that my water broke, later that day, earlier that morning, we had went to the hospital because I thought I was in labor. Remember?
But it was
back labor.
So your back was hurting.
So we went up there. They sent us home because they said my contractions were inconsistent. And to be honest, I wasn't feeling anything.
Why was your back hurting?
I was feeling it in the back, not in the front.
But why? Was it due to
Xavier,
what the doctor recommended that we do?
Mari, what you need? Okay, can you wait? I'm almost done. I'll come get you, okay?
She just be wanting to
she just
see
wanna
our
call you,
face. Yeah.
like-
Yo, Amari will call the heck out of you. Oh,
and she'll hang up
goodness.
fast.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Oh my
So
God,
if y'all catch a little attitude that we got with her, it's because she will dial you to death, and then she will just keep dialing. That's why, like, whenever we're you know, we got her iPad because she only can call like certain people. But if you're like in her recents and you're not like mommy, daddy, we just delete.
because she's gonna call you
She
at
gonna
4
call you
a.m.
all
She's gonna
day.
call you at 2 a.m.
But anyway, go. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So it's 10:30 at night. We go to the hospital. Our hospital is about 20 minutes away. I would say 20-25 minutes, depending on traffic. Obviously, there was no traffic, but we get there. We have to go through the ER because they closed the main entrance at 7, and they have to call the people down. And mind you, there's all these sick people in the ER, of course. And we weren't like super big, I would say with content. I want to say we had a lot. It was like,
Maybe
what?
800K
Yeah.
on.
So we had a decent amount, but we nobody important like that. We get there. I'm waiting on the lady. The lady come down finally. She wheels me up to labor and delivery. And luckily, I want to say they just had a room, so we went in immediately.
Mhm.
But I got there, and like I said, I didn't prep for this birth at all, and I had all the intentions to have an unmedicated birth. But when I tell you, I felt that pain. I said, "Oh no, give me the epidural
Mhm.
immediately." Like, and I want to say it took a minute because the anesthesiologist had to I guess other emergencies at the time.
Yeah.
But when he gave me the epidural, he pissed me off.
Why he piss you off?
Because, obviously I'm in pain and I have to be still. But he was just like, well, if you don't be still, I can't do it. Da-da-da-da. I'm like, if you don't put the fucking epidural in, excuse my language, but he pissed me off so bad. Like, I wanted
You
to
was
cuss
cursing
him
everybody.
out.
You was cussing me.
Everybody
out.
was getting cursed out.
But
I was sorry for that because I felt bad
kicked
for
me
you.
out for the epidural. They kick everybody out.
But I wish I had a doula the first time. I will say that.
Yeah.
I didn't realize the significance of having one. And looking back, I would definitely 100% have a doula with every birth.
Yeah. I think the first go around, we just kind of all assumed that it would go a certain way. And
It went the opposite.
life hits you like smack in the face. Like
Uh-huh.
Jesus said, look, I don't know what movies you've seen, but this ain't that. Then he smacked me across the face.
So we'll go into that.
Go ahead.
I eventually slept for a little bit because I went in at 10. I ended up having her around 7. So I had time to sleep. I was finally dilated and they're like, okay, it's time to push. I'm like, oh, I'm excited. I get to see my baby for the first time. My baby that I've been dreaming about. My baby that I worked so hard to get. And I'll let him go into that because he had more of, I guess, the view.
I guess I'll just say that from when we got there, like 10 in that room till the delivery, it felt very slow.
Wait, peek at him. He okay?
Yeah, he's fine.
Okay.
I've been looking at it. It felt very slow. You were in pain the entire time, and it was like every 2 minutes, I'll just hear you go, like whenever your contraction started. So I tried my best to get a little bit of rest on the uncomfortable side couch that was there. And then once all the people came in to do the delivery, when it was around that time, I just remember that you were so numb that you couldn't really feel the push.
Mm-hmm.
So when she was telling you push, you didn't know how to trigger your muscles the way that she was asking. So she's like, Naomi, push. And then, okay, there goes the head. The head's out. And I'm like, oh my God.
Baby girl had a big head.
The head was out. And when I tell you the head was turning purple for like, it had to be like 40 seconds. Like I'm sitting there looking. And then the doctor's like, Naomi, you need to push. And then you're
They
like,
couldn't feel nothing.
And at this point, the doctor's starting to like put her hand inside of there and trying to
help the baby,
turn the baby, all that type of stuff.
She wasn't faced the right way.
Yeah. So basically what happened, the baby had like a shoulder dystocia. So like her shoulder was stuck. And because of that, the neck was just out with the head and she was just turning purple. And in my head, I'm like, wait, this is very not movie like. This is
They don't nothing like the movie.
This is scary. Like, you know what I'm saying? So after, a few more, yellings at Nay of telling her to, push, Naomi was able to finally push the baby out. Baby came out purple. And I remember Mari just kind of looked at everybody. And she didn't cry or nothing. She just like looked at everybody. And then you said, "Oh, why isn't she crying?"
I didn't hear nothing.
And then the nurses and the baby was like, "It's okay, it's okay." And then like 5 seconds later, she just started crying. And then you started crying. And then this is where it got real. Because now that baby's out.
The shoulder dystocia was real. I'm going to say that. That was a real moment.
No, don't
that's
get me
not
wrong.
something
But that's just
But that was the start.
We're not even to the climax. You know what I mean? So the baby's out, and I can't even both times you delivered, I couldn't even focus on the baby, to be honest. Like, I knew the baby was going to be fine once the baby came out, was breathing and whatnot, and I trusted the nurses that they would do their job to keep him or her fine until I was ready to to prioritize the baby. Anyway, baby's out, and your vagina is gushing blood like a fire hydrant, like literally. And I'm looking around like, this don't look normal. Like, this looks like something. I'm no medical expert. I've never seen a delivery, but the amount of blood that was coming out was not in any way, shape, or form looking to be normal. And I started to observe everyone in the room, especially your doctor, and she was trying to basically keep calm and figure out what was going on. She called out that there was a hemorrhage, and she called
I forget the code.
Yeah, she called out that there was a hemorrhage. And at the time, I didn't really know what a hemorrhage was. I thought that it was just a cut, like a laceration. Whenever you try to push the baby out, you lacerate yourself inside and it starts bleeding. You sew it up and blah, blah, blah. But it's worse than that. It's like the pelvic something doesn't fully close.
Your uterus doesn't contract when the baby comes out.
Yeah, so basically it's like the floodgates are open for blood. That's how I interpret it. Could be wrong, but it got to a point where I'd say 30 seconds in, she's calling in for support in like the next protocol. So she like sticks Naomi with some sort of shot in her leg. And this whole time, Naomi has no idea what's going on. I don't know what's going on. She's on FaceTime with her parents and her grandma, like, "Oh my gosh, she's here." And we're literally fighting for her life in that moment. And she had
I
no
never
idea.
got lightheaded. I never passed out. Thank God.
And I think for me, I knew that I needed to let the professionals do their job. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to just let go. I'm going to let God handle this. And I'm just going to pray. And I was praying there for at least 2 minutes while they were addressing everything. And by the grace of God, you stopped. You stopped bleeding.
But you left out an important part. When they called for the hemorrhage, it was like the room was flooded with at least 15, 20 people plus. Like,
no, it was about 8 people.
It was a lot.
It was a small room though. So you probably felt like it was more, but it was
at least a good 10, 15.
It was at least, 2.5 times what a normal staff would be for sure.
Like, I want to say normal staff was maybe 3.
Maybe 3, yeah. And it had to be at least 8 people. So once it stopped, we were all just like, thank goodness, like, they sewed you up because you had some lacerations that were not the hemorrhage, but she thought it was.
It was a tear.
Yeah, it was a tear.
I tore. Second degree.
Second degree. Mm-hmm. And after that, it gets a little bit more interesting because my sister's a nurse, and I told her what was happening, and they were like, "Did they not give her a blood transfusion?" And I was like, "Oh no, not yet. This is probably like 20 minutes after the delivery." Not yet. They're running some tests or doing some stuff. I don't know what the hell they were doing.
They wanted to check my blood palette, I want to say, before they just gave me that.
Long story short, my sister was very upset because you lost
3 liters.
3 liters of blood.
And I think human body has 4.
I think human body has 5, but and that's a non-pregnant person. But a pregnant person, I believe, has a little bit more. But even still, That is a lot of blood. Imagine a 2 liter of Coke, right? Filled all the way to the top of blood, and then another 2 liter of Coke filled up halfway. That's how much blood was in that bucket that they accounted for.
There was more on the floor.
There was more blood, of course, because she was leaking to the point where once the baby was out, it took at least 20 seconds to get something that was substantial under there to start collecting. So you could have easily lost close to, 4 liters, like in actuality. Like,
I want to say too, they were saying that was the worst case of a hemorrhage that they had ever seen at that hospital. And that's a pretty old hospital.
It's a very old hospital. And I remember once everything had kind of settled down and you had received your transfusion, it was hours later, and my sister was upset because she felt like they should have did it much sooner than that. All the nurses, or a lot of them, like, when everybody's in recovery, you can finally walk around. They knew me somehow. They were like, "Oh, I'm so glad everything worked out." They would just say little things like, "I'm so glad that it,
like, I want to say it was randomly too, and like you said, the elevator when you were
it was everywhere, like random nurses. Because I guess when something like that happens and it's a big deal, they talk about it, because it's a learning opportunity, and what could you do better? I'm pretty sure they retrospect all the time, but I didn't realize how big of a deal it was to the hospital until these random nurses throughout the course of, because you had to stay like an extra day.
It was like 3 or 4 days.
Yeah, we were there for a little while.
And I had to get 2 blood transfusion bags. And it's ironic to me because initially when you go in the hospital, they gave you a little paper and you put like what you do or what you want, etc. Like obviously some stuff, you have no control over. And I remember looking at specifically where it asked if you would be okay for a blood transfusion, and I was going to put no. And then I was like, no, well, let me just put it in case I need it.
My thing is, I feel like, to be honest, some people be trying to be too organic about stuff. It's like we're in the day and age where technology exists and we have the means to save people. And some people, they get on this social media thing where, oh, everything has to be this way. Organic this, you need to be drinking these herbs and you need to be eating pineapples to slide the baby. Like don't get me wrong. I'm pretty sure a lot of them are great, but I think people to a degree discount how valuable modern technology, modern medication, modern medical is. And it saved our lives.
And I will say, I was definitely somebody who wanted to initially have a home birth or have my birth at a medical, not a medical center, a birthing center. Mm-hmm. And for our situation, I'm glad that we did it because who knows what could have happened. I know that birthing centers have some means of stuff, but they don't have what I probably would have needed for a hemorrhage.
Just imagine that happening at a birthing center and then them having to call,
the ambulance to come
and they don't know how to. I'm sure, don't get me wrong, they're skilled at what they do, but I would look at ambulance people as kind of like the jack of all trades. I'm trying to save your life, type of person, and not really like how you look at a OB and they're like, I know exactly what this is. Mm-hmm. I'm trained to fix this particular thing. So
I will say though, ever since that experience, it kind of traumatized me to not want to have any more kids. But I also knew that I didn't want my kid to be an only child. So I think for me, it took a little bit of time of healing. I don't think that I fully healed and worked through that experience with it being so traumatic because I feel like I was so numb from the epidural. Like I didn't have a lot of feeling with a lot of stuff, like emotion wise, I was just kind of numb. So I don't think that I ever really had the chance to process my birth and really, really, because I feel like I get emotional about it. But
I think for me, it was traumatic simply because I never want to see somebody I love in that type of predicament.
And then to have you possibly would have raised a kid by yourself. You know what I mean? Like, it's a lot. Like,
I mean, the thing is, I don't think it's good to think that way because God has a plan, and his plan was for us to be able to parent Amari and Ace together because that's what we're doing right now. And we could say, what if this, what if that, but that goes against what God had planned for us. And I think that that's our own anxiety, our own fears that
Mhm.
trickle in. And that's why you know, we had to overcome that trauma for the second child, because I was definitely traumatized. I didn't want to ever see you in a situation like that again. But
I guess
we
we
ended
could
up
go
doing it
into. I
again.
was say we could go into the second birth. Pregnancies were very similar. I be leaving out stuff. My mind be everywhere because I feel like I block out a lot of traumatic stuff. With both of them, I did have a subchorionic hematoma, subchorionic hemorrhage, something.
Yeah, you had a one of those cysts. It wasn't as big as the one that you had for the procedure to remove,
But
but
I had it with both kids around the first trimester. It was like
they ended up
between.
self-rupturing.
Yes, they were. I think I was 8 weeks or something. With
Mhm.
Amari, I bled one time and it stopped, and with Ace, I bled for weeks.
Yeah.
When it first happened, I still have the photo. I need to delete it, but I have the photo of the clot that came out. It was like the
Mhm.
size of a golf ball, and we had just saw him on the ultrasound.
Oh, I remember
Literally,
this
we
now.
had just saw him on the ultrasound. I was laying down, and like I just felt like it felt like my water broke, and it
Mhm.
felt like or like a period. You know how like when you know. And I was sitting there, I was like, that doesn't feel right. And I normally sometimes it could be discharge.
And how many weeks were you at this? Just so there.
I think I was 8 weeks pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
So I grabbed one of Mari's baby wipes because I'm like, I don't feel like getting up. So I like lay there, I wipe myself and I see the blood and I like start screaming. I run to the bathroom, I'm calling for him. And poor Mari, she didn't know what was going on. She was walking and all that. So she's running behind me, seeing the blood all over the floor. When he comes in the bathroom, there's blood all in the trash can, blood all over it literally looked like a crime scene. Like that
And
was
I
the
just
best way to
remember
describe it.
you were like boo-hoo crying. You were sitting on the toilet, and I just remember coming and sitting in front of you and putting my head against your head and just telling you it's going to be okay.
Ugh, I get so emotional talking about it.
And
You kept telling me to stop worrying about something that we don't know.
I was like, you have to continue to remember to think positive. We don't know what this is, but stay true to the journey and we'll get through this. And I remember when I saw the clot that you had, it was massive. And I was in my mind just like, man, I pray that this isn't anything that, you always have that in the back of your mind, when you see something like that, because it's, what happens, where people miscarry and
We
you
had
know,
called the clinic back and I asked them if I should come back up there for an ultrasound. And they were like, well, you just left. And I'm like, I wanted to cuss them out because I'm like, yes, I just had an ultrasound and the baby was fine, but I'm bleeding golf ball clots. Like you telling me I should just wait another week to see? You know what I mean? Like my mind is not going to rest waiting to know if my baby is still in there and still alive.
yeah.
So we went back up there.
We went back up there, and the whole time,
You just in there jumping.
me and you, I'm just giving you affirmation, everything's going to be good. Don't even worry about it. And when we get there, I'll just get right into it. We get there, the main doctor is there, which is great because, to be honest,
I don't really trust the
yeah,
technicians.
the technicians,
like
they be iffy sometimes. Like sometimes they'll
you
tell
get
you
a
one
good
thing,
one, sometimes you don't.
and it was the main doctor. So I'm like, okay, great. We go in there. She start doing the ultrasound, and the crazy thing is they're always very quiet at first, like trying
That just
to.
makes you like.
And as soon as she stuck it in, and like a few seconds later, I could see the baby in there, and then she had said, "Oh, look at this," and then we had both kind of just looked, and she was like, "There's the baby. Baby's fine," and she had also mentioned that it looked like your hematoma or whatever it was, the clot that you had, was no longer there. And
But the thing about it was they could have caught it earlier when I went in.
yeah, but they didn't catch it.
See
They
it.
didn't see it the first time. So they saw it like the week prior or like while you were prepping, and you never saw it pass or you never saw anything with that. And then we came in that same morning. Oh, we don't see anything, but it was a technician.
Yeah.
Right. So when we came back and, the baby was fine, she mentioned that, hey, there's no, but the big one was gone, but there was like remnants of. She's like, oh,
Mhm.
I still see that there's some vessels here, some vessels there. You'll probably bleed a little bit more, but it was just very poetic to
I
a
feel like I
degree.
could have prepared myself better if I would have known that it was there. So
Yeah,
I'm under the impression that this whole time everything is fine, and the whole time, you know, it was
it's because
still
the
there.
technician didn't know
Yeah.
what she was looking at, and
But
because it went
aside,
from we knew it was there to it being completely gone, and we're like,
yeah,
oh yay, it's
yeah, we were
gone.
happy about it.
And then you have that episode happen, and then yeah, so
But I feel like from there, the pregnancy was pretty straightforward. We were a little, I don't know if he was nervous, but I was a little bit nervous because the entire time my pregnancy, I want to say from 20 weeks plus, they just kept saying that he was measuring way bigger than what she was. And we knew that I had a shoulder dystocia and a postpartum hemorrhage the first time, and Amari was a certain size, and he was projecting to be bigger than that. So I kind of already was in my mind like saying, hey, I want to give myself a chance to try to have him on my, like, you know, unmedicated or whatever. And then a part of me was like, well, maybe I just want to have a C-section and just play it safe, you know? But just because you have a C-section, technically you're still not playing it safe because you could still have a hemorrhage. So,
yeah, on average, you lose more blood
yeah.
with C-sections than you do vaginal. So
I got a doula this time around, and we really just tried to prep like myself the best way possible to give birth. And she provided a lot of knowledge of different things that I didn't know, different ways to help with the pain. Because I will say, with my first, they kept me in the bed,
yeah,
so
they
it
were
made
old
it worse.
school, laid down on your back, and you sat there the entire time. But the second go round, one having a doula was great. But I think that what was even just as impactful was having the right nurse.
She was an
you.
amazing nurse too.
So just to fast forward a little bit, and I know that there's a lot.
Wait, okay, there's a lot. Yes. Okay, so we get closer to his due date ish. With IVF, they don't usually let you go to full 40. You have to have your baby usually a week earlier because of I think they say like I don't know, it's
They
something
just
that
get
happens.
too big.
The placenta basically ages quicker with IVF or something. So around January 18th or January 17th, I had a membrane sweep. I'm around 38 weeks. He doesn't come, right? You need to reset it. He doesn't come. So then the day, was it the day before my birthday or the day after my birthday? My birthday was January 22nd. I want to say it was the day after my birthday because we had a freeze in Houston, and I was praying that he didn't come on my birthday because the roads were icy. So the next day I went to the doctor. I'm still in the same spot, but maybe progressed just a little bit more. So I said, well, can I just do another membrane sweep? Because at this point they were going to induce me that Friday because that was my 39 weeks. I get another membrane sweep. I'm walking. I'm doing all the things. I'm taking evening primrose oil. I'm drinking my raspberry leaf tea. I'm doing everything possible to get him out, and he does not want to come out. So you already know I'm stressed. And I was talking to my doula. I told her, I said, honestly and truly, if I have to be induced, I don't think I want to try to do it unmedicated because being on Pitocin, they say the contractions are way worse. And I was like, honestly, I'm just not for it. So he doesn't come. We go to the hospital that Friday. I'm getting induced early. And I'll let you talk about the rest because I feel like you probably have a better memory than I do.
I just remember when we got to the hospital, because when you go and get induced, like, you know that the baby's coming out, like, by the time you leave. You know what I mean? It's an appointment. So I remember us getting there and you still wanting to do like some natural things, like, and your doctor was like,
she's looking at me like, girl, if you don't just do this damn
go
Pitocin.
ahead and get the Pitocin. Like, that's why you're here. Like, why are you,
Yeah, she's like, we're here to have a baby. I'm like, I get it.
And all that stuff. But I remember the nurse being amazing. She was able to help you with different positions. She didn't just...
I'm coming, okay? Okay. I'll let you talk about it. I'll be back. I'm going to take it to the bathroom.
All right, sorry guys, we're back. Mari had a little accident we had to take care of. But yeah, so I just remember that, the nurse is really good. She helped you with different positions. She was very accommodating. Of course, the doula was there. We were doing exercises the entire time. I helped out. And I remember when we started the Pitocin, it took a little while. It took hours. I think it took like 2.5 hours for you to get cranked up into, like, because they slowly give it to you.
They like up it every 30 minutes.
And you
up
had
by
like a
2.
very high amount once we got to the.
I was at 14. It wasn't that high.
Isn't that? I thought that was high.
No, I think it goes to 20.
Oh well,
I didn't want to get to 20.
But I remember, you were doubting if you could do it naturally, and you got to the point where, I mean, you really couldn't get the epidural because.
No, I could. I don't think I could have sat still. You
That's
can
what I'm
get it.
saying. That's
yeah.
what I'm saying. Like I don't think that you could have got it like with all the contractions that you were having and whatnot. But
So when I want to say I was dilating fine and I was feeling the contractions initially, but it wasn't like anything super crazy. Like I felt like I could handle them fairly well. I will say we got to 14 for the Pitocin and I was just like, I don't want it to keep going up. So my doctor was like, I can just break your water bag and that will make everything go quicker. So I was like, okay, well, let's just do that. I was a little skeptical, but she was like, it's going to go really quick. She was like, it's going to go really, really quick. So I'm just going to let you know that. I'm like, okay, cool. So she come in with this thing that looks like a long, maybe this long of like a crochet hook. And she like hooks it onto the water bag and she pops it. And then, you know, the water's just gushing. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm sitting here. And like, I want to say not even like 10 minutes later, it started amping up. I said, oh, you meant like that. Like, oh, okay. So I'm progressing. And at this point, I want to say maybe it was around 10 a.m., maybe not 11 or something like that. And I'm just doing different peanut ball positions with my doula. By the way, love her down. But I wanted to fight her in that moment because the stuff she was doing was making me progress quicker, but it hurt so bad. When I got to about 8.5 centimeters, I feel like that's for me when it started ramping up and feeling like really real. Like I feel like I was starting to have an out of body experience. Like I felt like I was about to go meet God. Like I don't know. I don't know how I got through it. My doula was there massaging me on my legs, massaging me on my back, helping me with different positions with the peanut ball. And of course, my husband was there next to me, helping me, encouraging me, giving me positive affirmations that I could do it. So when she checked me around 8.5 centimeters, I want to say not even 10 minutes later, I told her I felt like I needed to push. The nurse came back and she was like, there's no way that you have to push like that quick. I just checked you. And I'm like, well, I feel like I got to push. So she checked me and I want to say I jumped from 8.5 to like 9.5 or something like that. And my doctor was like, okay, it's fine for you to push if you feel the need to push, but don't force your pushing. So I was like, okay, cool. So I started yelling. I'm like, oh my God, like I feel like the baby's about to come out. Where's the doctor? Because the doctor was sitting out at the nurse's station where they normally sit or whatever. And the doctor's just coming in all casually. This is the same doctor that delivered Amari. She comes in so casually. She's like, all right, looks like we're having a baby. And she's like, I can see the head is starting to come out. And I'm like, okay, cool. And my head too, I'm also very, very like nervous because my first birth was very traumatic and I just didn't want to have another experience like that. So I'm starting to push. He starts coming out. I feel like, honestly, he came out so quick. Like, would you say?
yeah, I remember whenever the doctor
I would
came in.
wait. Yeah, I remember wait. Okay, I'm sorry.
No, I remember when the doctor came in and I was like, dang, we about to do this again. I hope it ain't like the last time. So she comes in and it was business as usual. You know, baby came out, the head was poking out purple again. And I was like, oh my goodness, like here we go. So baby head purple, you sitting there. It's like, it's only 20 seconds this time. And then the baby comes out. She pulls the baby out. There was no shoulder dystocia. There was still some blood because
I have a serious question. Did I poop on myself?
Yeah, you did. You pooped on yourself.
Damn.
So you pooped on yourself.
Why are you saying like, yeah, you pooped on your...
You shit yourself. Baby came out, and I couldn't focus on the baby again because I was making sure that you were good. I noticed that there was some blood. Like I said, that was from the laceration. What do you call it?
The 2nd degree tear.
Yeah, you had another tear.
We were a little bit skeptical though. I keep forgetting stuff and thinking about it because remember my what is that called? The thing that the baby feeds off of?
Placenta?
Yes, my placenta was split into 2 pieces, y'all. So I was worried about them not getting all of that out because if they didn't get all of that out, I could have another postpartum hemorrhage.
Yeah. So luckily she said she got it all out. And but yeah, I remember that there was still blood, and in my mind I'm like, please don't let this be this thing again. And I remember the doctor saying, "Beautiful, this looks great," and she was sewing you up like how she
Mhm.
did the first time. And I was like, "Okay, so we're good. Like no hemorrhage, or nothing? No hemorrhage." And I was just like, "Yes, Lord." I was happy, so I went to go look at the baby. Saw the baby. I'm like, "He's good." I went to go check on you. You were good, and I feel like it was just a much smoother experience. And I think that for you doing it natural, it gave you that confidence that you needed to know that you can do it.
Mhm.
And anything that you put your mind to, like there's nothing that you should be afraid of. So
Like I will say, absolutely, giving birth naturally does hurt, especially on pitocin. But I 1,000% would do it that way again. I feel like Ace's birth was kind of like a redemption birth from the first time. Like the first birth, I never worked past or, healed myself from it. So I was very scared. But I feel like Ace's birth basically just like, like it healed like an inner piece of me. And I feel like it makes me want to do it again.
I mean, we can practice tonight. Like we can start
Stop.
already. What that song about the baby called Practice?
Oh my God.
Yeah,
But I feel like Ace's birth was so beautiful to me that I would do it again. And I would have as many babies as this man want to have. Like that's how I feel.
I appreciate it, because I love making them, but at the
Oh
same
my
time,
God.
making them naturally it's
It's a little challenging.
it's a challenge, but it's a fun challenge. It's
Yeah.
the most fun challenge I've ever had in my entire life. So
I
whatever.
always said though, if we got pregnant naturally, I would be absolutely over the moon. But if I had to do another IVF cycle, and if I have to do that, you're not seeing a baby no time soon. I'm just letting y'all know that out. So just don't say nothing. But if I do another IVF cycle, I will probably definitely show you guys like front end everything. Because I feel like I had 2 pregnancies where I didn't share anything with Amari because y'all know I was embarrassed about that. And then with Ace, I shared bits and pieces.
But we were still traumatized from
We
Amari.
were still traumatized from the first time. So I'm like, okay, well maybe the next time.
We limped into this one. Like, let's go ahead and make sure we
were even gonna vlog and then we were just like, hell
nah.
no.
And got to the doctor's office. I'm like, nah, put that phone down.
We did get
camera
some
down.
stuff though while I was in like labor,
For
but
us.
like it was just very, very light.
Yeah, it was for us. But we did do a couple videos like kind of like after the recovery and stuff like that.
I would say like how did watching me give birth make you feel? Like how do you feel after that? Like some men say, greatest experience of their life. Like, I don't know.
I think it just, I mean, to me, it makes me feel more in love with the person giving birth. And I think for me, I've always, like, your love for your kids grows over time. It's not like when the baby comes out, I feel like how I feel now about them.
Mm.
It's very different. Not in a bad way, but I think that a lot of people assume that as soon as the baby's born, like you are just like so head over heels, like, for me, it was not like that.
But some people don't have that. Like some people don't feel that attachment to their kids.
And it's not that I don't
initially.
feel attachment. It's that I prioritize safety and protection and health over love in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
Like I want to make sure that everybody is good before I start to feel this type of love, because I'm a natural protector. It's my job to make sure that you have the support, that you are represented, that the baby's represented. And then once we are in a environment where we can love on each other and that love starts to grow, like when we doing skin to skin and stuff like that, that's when my emotion kind of spills over in that way. But I'm not the type of person where the baby comes out, give me the baby right now. No, how's my wife doing? Is she good? Like, what can I do to help make sure that this process gets done the way that it needs to get done? Do you need me to stand over here? Like, I know that everything has a time and a place. And I think that for me personally, I need to make sure y'all are safe before I become vulnerable and start to feel those emotions.
So I guess I have another question. For each baby, how did you feel after they were born? Like when you got the chance to love on them? Like, did you feel like you can't talk? Did you feel like you healed something inner in you, from like, I don't know if it's anything childhood. Like for me, I felt like my kids, when I had them, they just healed like bits and pieces of me that I didn't know I needed. Like, what was your feeling when you first saw Amari and you got the chance to bond with her and love on her? And same with Ace.
I don't know. I feel like it's a journey because for me, when I first held them, of course you feel this rush, like, oh my goodness, like this is my baby. And then like you you never really know what your child will look like with your, significant other. And you're just kind of amazed that like you made this. And for me, like I said, it wasn't like this overwhelming sense of I'm just overjoyed in love. It was more of I want to do everything in my power to make sure that their life goes in the best possible way. And I think over time, like as days go by, as weeks go by, and I start to learn them, I learn their personality, I learn what they like and what they don't like. That's where I start to have this head over heels love for my child. Because just like how when you're caring for your child in the womb, you love your child, but at the same time, your whole objective is to make sure that they get here safely.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So you're doing everything that you can to, put the right stuff into your body so that it goes into their body. That's how I feel when the baby is here and is very vulnerable and needs to be protected because you don't know who is really on your side to a degree. You can never
Mhm.
really trust anybody but yourself and
Mhm.
hopefully your significant other. You hear all these stories about nurses and doctors doing certain things to babies and whatnot. So my guard is always on the highest it can possibly be because I'm following the baby around and making sure that protocol is whatever. And when I get an opportunity to have alone time and peaceful time with my kids, that's when that love starts to come out and grow. And you can say that, me acting in that way is all through love. It's just a different type of
Mhm.
love. Because I know that you are vulnerable. I know my child is vulnerable. And I don't want any blind spots while we're going through this vulnerable situation.
I feel like it's so interesting too now. Like, obviously, when your kids are smaller, like Ace's age, they start getting personality. But like being Amari's age and like seeing her personality and how loving, how nurturing, how caring she is, the things that she likes and what she dislikes. Like, I don't know. Like,
That's because
I'm just
we've
like, wow.
I think we've always just been so loving and nurturing to our kids. Like we tell them constantly throughout the day, I love you. We're always
Mhm.
holding them, giving them hugs. And you were always critical of me when you were pregnant. How come you don't rub my belly and this is that and the third? And I think now that you see me as a father to a child that's here and you don't even really remember, those criticisms
Mhm.
because like I said,
It's
when
different for you.
it's
Yeah.
different for me when it comes to how I go about loving my kids. And I think that you appreciate how I do it and it makes you want more kids from me because you see how well I treat them. And although I'm not
Man.
perfect,
You
I'm
th-
the I'm,
hey. I'm just kidding.
but you see how much I put effort into it.
hmm
And I want my kids to look up to me. I want them to look up to us. So I try my best to instill the values while also giving them a life that, we wish that they
we
could
would have
have.
had. Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I think we had great
We
lives,
had great
but at
lives.
the same time, you should always be trying to level up.
And give your kids better than what you had. That's
Mhm.
just my opinion. But I just think it's so interesting how loving and nurturing she is. Like yesterday, we were with my friend at the park, and she just runs up to her and hugs her. Like Amari is just so excited to see her, and I can tell that that really made her happy. So I just love like how she loves me. Like
I
last
think
night, I laid in the bed with her. She goes, "Mommy, I love you," and
she
she just
says that
gives
all
me
the
a
time.
kiss. I'd be like,
And
"I
I think
love
like
you."
the best analogy I can give is like think about a lion and its cubs. Like when the lion is alone with his cubs, they can have that comforting relationship. They can
Mhm.
be very intimate. They can play around, and whatnot. But when the lion is in the presence of anyone else with his cubs, you're going to get a different version of that lion.
Mhm.
They may not be aggressive, but they may posture. And I feel like for me, I'm always very postured when I'm around um, people who I don't fully
No.
know or no intentions. And even to this day, I'm like that. But imagine that times 100 because I'm in the hospital. This isn't my comfort zone. So when people say, do you feel like this overwhelming sense of love? And it's like, it's there, but it's so hidden because I'm ready to I'm on go right now. Like do something that you're not supposed to do right now and see what's gonna happen. You know what I mean? That's how
they gonna try you.
No, I'm not
kidding.
but that's just how my brain works. And then, we go home, we experience the baby, we learn how to be parents, and then, you go through all the, that phase, and then you realize like, man, every single day I'm loving this child more and more and more. And I
think another thing I just want to touch on before we end this podcast is I know a lot of people say, I love my first kid so much. Like, I don't understand how I could love another kid of mine as much as I already love them because I just love them so much. And I will say that your love for your kids is different.
Yeah, it's different.
You love them so much, but I don't want to say it's equal. It's just different. Like, it can't be compared. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it really can't be. But my protection for both is the exact same.
Yeah.
And I always tell Naomi, I will sit in a jail cell for years. If it meant that I got to protect my child, I'll die for my kids. Like I will do whatever it's need to be done to make sure that my kids are good. So, but yeah, to end this podcast because this camera.
We were actually going to talk about something else, but I feel like this is already a long podcast.
I feel like we got to go ahead and do another episode. But we really appreciate you guys. I know this one was a bit deep. Hopefully we kept it a bit lighthearted.
I didn't cry today.
you almost did, but I think that it's good to have these conversations and revisit because I think it is therapeutic for you and I, because we're both not perfect, but we try our best, and we hope that our experiences can also shed some light and show you that maybe we're not as different as you may think that we are. So
I'm just like you. Oh.
That's a $400 microphone. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, thank you guys so much. Make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe. Follow us on all of our platforms. XNA Podcast is our @name on Instagram. You can follow our main pages at XNA, at It's Naomi Marie,
and at It's Visuals by X.
Yeah.
Why the hell is your name that?
Because
you know what?
I used to make them visuals. Now I haven't made a visual in so long.
But anyways, y'all, we're gonna holler at y'all later.
Love you guys.
Bye.
Peace.